Hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? Just having a little tonic water since we have the coronavirus going on. And I wanted to show you guys something that I just found out. Um, Supposedly, Farrel Interactive, the company that makes some ports for some very popular video games, one of the popular video games is actually Tomb Raider. And yeah, they do a really good job on their ports. They always work very well on Linux. And one of the things that they did, I mean, here's a game that I've been playing, just started. I played the previous version, and yeah. So one of the things they've been doing is supposedly making some optimizations for Linux, just like what I was talking about in my previous video about the game governor. Kind of Linux doesn't set the set the frequency and the governors based on the type of application, and sometimes the applications don't change those settings when they could. So what we have here is a bunch of different optimizations. So we have the CPU optimization, IO priority optimization, processor niceness, kernel scheduler, screensaver inhibiting, GPU performance mode for NVIDIA AMD, GPU overclocking for NVIDIA, and some other custom scripts. So I actually haven't installed this yet, but here's a list of some of the games where they have support for, right? So I'm guessing with this, um, if we install this, since I already did a video prior, I think like 2 videos ago I did AMD versus NVIDIA on Linux, I showed some of the frame rates for Tomb Raider with my AMD card and with my NVIDIA card. Now, if I install this and I check out my frame rates, let's see if the frame rates are actually better. So let's just go through their little list they have here. We can install it. Now it looks like I have a lot of this stuff already, but install that. So it looks like to build and install game mode, I'm going to go into my tools directory. I consider this to be a tool. We'll clone this. We'll cd into game mode, and then we'll get checkout 1.5.1 like it says. Okay. Then we'll use the bootstrap sh. Check that out. And surprisingly, that built looks like pretty well. And it's asking, do we want to install it into the user directory? They'll say yes. And that's it. It appears to be working. Well, it appears to be installed properly. No major errors. Looks like we have one thing that it was looking for functionality for, but everything else looks like it's a yes, so cool. Yeah. So it says games that support it will just activate it. So I'm not sure if we have to do anything else after the fact. I'm just kind of going over this real quickly. The daemon configuration game INI file is an example of what this file would look like with explanations of the variables. So you can configure this to be used by other applications and games too, if you want, it looks like. Okay, so we have game mode, and then we can run the game. Okay, sweet. Let's try it. So I'll just go over here and use this because it's easier. Games, Steam apps, common. Then we'll go to Shadows of the Tomb Raider. We'll go to the bin directory, and there we go. So game, mode, run, and then we'll do Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And if everything works right, see what it says. Environmental variable. Info. This looks like just stuff about the actual game. I don't think this has anything to do with game mode. And then we'll play. Now, since I don't have Mango HUD set up, I don't know what the frames per second are going to be for this. But before, when I'm not using OBS, I'll get about 60 frames per second. Sometimes it'll go down to 51, 55, something like that. But and right now I'm using the AMD card. Man, this is slow. I did say this is on my my hard drive, not on my NVMe drive. Which I should think about moving my active games over to my NVMe drive, just for, you know, just when I'm playing them, so I don't have to deal with this slow load times. I think I'm going to do that. So I've already moved over some of my project files to a hard drive with some system links because it was so bad. I wonder if this has a built-in FPS counter for us. Seems nice and smooth, say that. We can run a benchmark. I've never done that. I should have done that with the NVIDIA. Where's AMD? Now I have no idea what this is going to be like with OBS running. I mean, I think OBS is probably going to be using the CPU. And I did fix some of my camera slowness I was seeing happening before. La-di-da-di-da. Sorry guys, it's taking forever. Oh. Maybe I'll just cut this part out. I don't know. So yeah, I've been drinking this tonic water. People are talking about it being good for coronavirus. I don't know if that's true or not, but why not? It tastes terrible. It tastes terrible. People usually use it with like gin and things like that. But oh yeah, I've been playing this game with my PlayStation controller. It's really convenient. It works great too. I have a Steam controller But the Steam controller is usually better for games that weren't designed for a controller. I mean, it works good because you still have one analog stick that you can use. And this is actually pretty good to look around. I actually like it. A lot of people didn't like it, but I find it to be pretty good controller.
Estaré aquí toda la noche.
¡Hey! ¡Cuidado, niños!
So I think it's about probably 5 frames per second slower, maybe 8 or 9 with OBS running at the same time. Well, you see that water really slowed it down with the lighting effects. I just got past this part in the game. It's awesome. I love how much, you know, foliage. It's just so dense in these forests. It looks so good, you know. I remember back in the old days, back in my day, you just have like a couple twigs up there and that'd be it. Trees sticking up that look all square trees. I'm actually running pretty good on this level. That looks so cool. I'd love to go here in real life. But games are the next best thing. So not bad. I'm not seeing major improvements from using this game mode at the moment, but you know, maybe it is helping a little. Because I do have OBS running on this. I'll run it one more time with the game mode not being used and see what happens. Although I think actually it said it's going to automatically activate it on some games. So it looks like the FPS for the CPU, game, CPU render, and the GPU, the minimums, 46, 59, and 43. I'm not really sure what this CPU render thing is supposed to be. %75% GPU bound, meaning that GPU is the limiting factor. As the average frames look pretty good. 56. So does this mean my CPU actually is better at rendering the game than the GPU? That can't be right. Alright, well, that's cool. Let's see, let's try it again. We got average frame FPS of 43. So we'll try it again without using the game mode. See what happens. Okay. So maybe we'll just do Shadow of the Tomb Raider. No game mode run. Okay, let's play. I mean, even there, even that launcher, the initial launcher takes forever to load. I really got to get some new hard drives. I got to get some 4 terabyte SSDs. When I'm willing to drop, you know, $1,000 to replace my 2 4 terabyte drives, that's when I'll consider doing it. Which might be a while. So I just had 2 baby daughters, twins, 6 months old, so don't have a lot of money to be buying any computer parts anymore. Okay. Options, display, and run benchmark. Last time we got 43. We'll let it run one more time, see what happens. So I'm not sure if you guys like this, you know, watching the entire benchmark run and having some stupid little commentary, but it's fun. I like doing it. So sad news for me. I had a Pine phone. I'll do another video about this, but I'll just let you guys know while we're waiting. I got a Pine phone, and one of the problems I had is it was running great. You know, that's the reason why I haven't really updated my script yet. It was working great, but I left it on without the cable plugged in, and the battery, you know, the phone died, ran out of power. And after it ran out of power, I'm not able to power it back on. And I guess the Pine phone has some kind of issue with, you know, the phone getting to 0%, and you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to work again. So I'm going to have to look into that. Supposedly there's some software differences with the Pine phone, or hardware differences with the Pine phone. I think normal phones, they prevent the phone from, you know, going down to 0%, but for whatever reason, the Pine phone doesn't have that, you know, protection, which I think is silly. If I'm understanding it right, I don't know why they did that.
Estaré aquí toda la noche.
¡Hey! ¡Cuidado, niños!
So this, again, this might not be different because I think some games will automatically activate game mode. That seemed pretty fluid, pretty fast. Not sure if it's going to beat it FPS wise. I really want to know what that like whatever that nest is. It's like a nest of something in on the right hand side. You see that there? Looks like something you'd see out of like some sci-fi film with giant spiders or something. That's a cocooned baboon or something. It looks like the screen went black on me. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing this or not. There we go. Came back. That was weird. So maybe, I don't know what that was. Really weird. Look at those G strings. Everybody wears a thong in this village. Remember that song, thong, to thong, thong, thong. All right. I think we've reached the end of the benchmarks. Average of 44. So I guess the only way to test this out, to really know what the situation is probably to set my CPU to power save or on demand or something like that, the governor, uninstall the game run mode, and then try this again. So we can do that real quick. So go back to here. Back to tools, game mode, and they had some information on how to uninstall. It looks like I just stopped the service. Probably have to do sudo. Failed to connect to bus. No such file or directory. Service not loaded. Okay. Sudo service Service. Come on now. Game moded. Just game mode. That says game moded. Oh, mode D. Status. Not found. So I guess that means that it wasn't running. So maybe I'll have to do a reboot and then it will be running automatically. So I guess, you know, I'm not really seeing a big difference here, but yeah, it's worth playing around with. I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm gonna keep on messing with it. You guys, you know, let me know if you guys mess with it, if you guys find some, you know, different configuration options or something. You know, let me know, and yeah, have fun.